It is a beautiful day today. You may know these two guys behind me. They're all over Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, right?
And YouTube, we're gonna do it all.
That's Jake from ThunderMax, and that's Millhouse right there. Jake and Millhouse is gonna give us a tour of the facility. By the way, I'm being rude. That's my nephew Eli right there. We're gonna get a tour of the ThunderMax facility. Now, you guys know that ThunderMax makes the best ECM replacement.
Thunder Hard Performance, we've been around 30 years. ThunderMax, our product, ThunderMax, has been around over 20 years now. Kind of the innovators of auto-tune, and we just keep innovating and keep doing more.
Always pushing forward, you know?
You notice they said auto-tune. We'll talk a little bit more about that, right? While we're in the shop, let's look at these two bikes right here. This beautiful Road King right here belongs to this man, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good-looking bike that you got there.
Thank you, thank you.
Who painted this bike for you?
That's Altered Ego Custom Paint, Shane Quick out of Chesapeake, Virginia.
I know it don't look that good and don't have any motor work done to it.
No motor work done. It's just an old man's bike.
Old man's bike?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
He might be keeping some secrets. This custom painted flame job, that's a good looking bike too, man.
Yeah.
Now, who painted this bike for you?
Lucky Strike Designs, Jeremy Senior out of Williamsburg, Virginia. He does all of my stuff. That box has got a full 86 FXRS that's custom painted that I'm doing a full frame off on for this season, so.
This one had a chain on it.
It does. Yeah.
It ain't stock.
Yeah, stock 107. Yeah, just all the good looking parts, you know, all the seemingly go fast parts.
He wants you to pull up on this stock 107.
Yeah.
We're going to start down here in our electronics department. I guess one of the biggest things that we pride ourselves on is we do it here in-house. No container ships coming over. We're building everything. Right here, we're going through doing some different testing on some different circuit board applications. Wiring department over here. Ricky and Alice, they're hard at work.
This is where we're manufacturing boards in-house. From left of you and all the way down, as it places or picks up pieces for whatever board that we're making, runs through here, places those particular things, and then this oven heats and cools and basically sets everything in place. It's been firmwared at the end, and then there's a series of things that will happen before it leaves electronics to go up to the next station, essentially.
Y'all making motherboards, is that what
So we're making circuit boards here in-house, which is not something that's
it's not common to do in the United States.
Not commonplace to do here in the United States, and we do it all in-house. So we're going to pick and place every transistor, every microprocessor, and it's going to be placed directly on these boards here. We're building our own firmware and our own circuitry for that. Gets finished up here, we're going to check continuity, load firmware. That's kind of test one. And then once it gets assembled, every single one of these ECMs goes on a bike, gets ran and tested before it leaves this facility.
Made in Tennessee, proud of that.
We're just proud that, you know, we've got a big crew here, everybody works hard together, we've got a bunch of riders, and we're supporting families right here in little old White House, Tennessee. We're a full ECM replacement. We're an auto-tuning ECM. What that means is that we're gonna be using wideband O2 sensors to constantly sniff the exhaust gases to make sure that the bike's running its absolute best. If you couple that with your M8 engines that have knock sensors, we now have knock control. So you're going to get fuel control auto-tune and some auto-tuning on that knock side as well. A wideband is going to give a much broader range, right, that it can sniff and adapt to, okay?
Yeah.
So your narrowband sensor, really all it's going to do, they come stock on the bike.
Right. And
they're there to just say rich or lean. That's about all they can do. A wideband sensor, we can go in there and read, 13.25 AFR, right? And that's all running in 100th of a decimal place. So it's going to give us a lot
ratio.
More. Air fuel ratio. It's going to give us a lot more control than versus a narrow band.
Yeah.
The great thing is I can't think of an exhaust company out right now that doesn't put wide bands already in their exhaust.
Or if they do, pay attention, because it is specified on some, like on drag specialties. I know, in years past they would say, hey, this has an option for narrow band or wide bands.
And so just pay attention when you're ordering your exhaust, but almost every exhaust manufacturer is already going to have wideband ports in there.
Yeah, you definitely want wideband, because if you're going to do any type of performance, you definitely want a wideband port.
Yeah, well,
in your exhaust.
Well, I mean, you can't even, our kit only comes with wideband sensors. So if you're going to run our system, you have to have them anyway.
So there's no need to have the other ones then.
Right. Yeah. Why even have anything else but us? All right, so we're here in our packaging and shipping department, kind of getting everything ready. Some of our guys here getting some orders together. If you notice over here, this is where we're going to do part of our assembly, where we're going to do our lasering. We're going to be putting the boards with the cases, and then from there, they're going to move over into production testing. But before we get there, we'll go check out our iRide and our machine shop.
Okay. Why replace the whole ECM instead of a piggyback?
So if you're going to ask me, you know, I would say, one, we're going to give you better control. We're going to give you over 4,000 tunable fueling points versus where your stock ECM's not going to have as many tunable fueling points. Right. And then you couple that with, we have built-in barometric pressure sensing on top. So it's just going to give you much more layers of control and adaptability over your engine and whatever you're doing, and not just your engine, but where you're riding at, right? So, you know,
That's that auto tune, right?
Yeah, that's that auto tune. So we're just moving around on big air pumps anyways, right? So the type of air coming in needs to be measured and analyzed so that we can make sure that we're getting the right atomization on combustion. And so altitude changes, things like that, we're accounting for all of that as well. This is our machine shop. When we say we make it in-house, we make it in-house. Yeah, so all of our cases are going to be made here. A lot of our suspension components are going to be made here inside this facility as well. And we'll go back and check out some of those being made right now. So we've got Seth here running our lathe. He's getting ready to pump out some parts for our iRide suspension system. This is our air spring that we make fully in-house, and then from here it goes out to get Teflon impregnated and hard-coated so that you don't get any stiction. And we couple that air spring there that he's making right now with a JRI coilover that's designed, the valving inside is designed by us specifically for our suspension. So that iRide suspension is going to automatically lower as you come to a stop, and it's going to automatically raise back up to your presets as you reach certain speeds that you set inside the system.
So for those that may be shorter in stature or might be a little weak in the legs, having the bike lower for them gives them more strength if they're a little bit weak in the legs, and a lot more stability when you can flat foot a motorcycle, especially a 900-pound bagger.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you too, like, it has made more women confident.
Absolutely. As
riders on big touring bikes or whatever, because, you know, for the longest there really hasn't been anything on the market besides like a burly slammer shock, you know, and it rides like a covered wagon because there's no travel. Right. So this gets you down, right? Yeah. At a stop position. Now we're confident, and then we take back off. Now we're expanding the shock, okay, and we're not giving up rideability. Yeah. You know, so it's fantastic.
Do y'all have one around here?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll check them out for sure.
All right.
See you, Seth. Just kind of quickly going over some of the components of the iRide suspension. I've got it on my bike here. We've got the air spring here. And if you've ever like really looked at a true all air suspension, you'll know that there's a lot of different solenoids and all this other stuff. Everything is housed right here. It's all CNC passageway, triple micron filter, so it's going to keep water disbursement out. And then we have an automatic ride load leveling there. So if you're going to ride one up or two up, it's going to automatically adjust the suspension for you. And then on the other side, there'll be the coilover. And if you look up here on the handlebars, we have our command center screen that goes along with the iRide suspension that's going to kind of, as a heads up, that'll give you some information about your ThunderMax as well as your iRide suspension system, and it'll show you some different settings. You can see your RPMs and some different engine functionalities and vehicle functionalities here as well.
So it's not just for the iRide, it also shows you.
Yeah, you can only get it with the iRide, but if you have a ThunderMax on your bike, you don't have to have a ThunderMax to run an iRide, but if you do, you get some added benefits in the screen.
Now, how high does it lift? Can you show us, or is it on the thing?
Well, I've got it tied down right now, but you're going to get about a 13-inch total out of it, and then you're going to get about 2.5, 2 3/4, depending on how you have your suspension set up during installation of drop out of it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And how long does it take to go up and down?
So you actually don't even feel it because it's all based on speed. So as you're approaching the speed or coming down to the speed, whichever direction you're going, it's either raising or lowering that bike, and you don't know that it's doing it on the road. You can't tell that it's raising and lowering. And it's also got fixed mode, so if you just want to keep it, at a set height and you just want to hit it there, you can do that as well and keep it from articulating and moving up and down.
Now, where do they get this iRide?
You can get it directly from us on our website or any of our premier dealers that you find on our website as well.
What's your social media?
ThunderMax is ThunderMax EFI. I'm Jake_T-Max, Millhouse_T-Max.
You see what they're holding right here in their hand. Traveling Talks Run to Hills 5, we are giving away a ThunderMax ECM right there.
The ECM here for a 2024 and up touring bike, and it's going to be a good turnout. Wish we could make it. We know you guys are going to have a good time.
This is where it starts right here. If you have performance and you don't have one of them, you don't have performance.
You ain't got performance.